This video was published by mbkpinternational.com. In this video, we're going to talk about the Guillotine EC19 Pro version 2 paper cutter. It's an electric paper cutter, and I just want to go over a few things on it, just a quick operation video. Just some features on it. This is an emergency stop button. You push it in, it'll kill power to it. You twist it clockwise to pop it back out and resume power. You got your reverse buttons. If the clamp is down and the blade is down in a stuck position or whatever, you always want to, these two buttons with the red arrow, the two center ones, you push them you push this first to light it up, and then you push them both, and it's already up to the top, so they can do nothing now, but it would raise them both to the top. These two are your cut buttons. You push and hold both to do a cut, but you first got to push your reset button and then push and hold both to do a cut. Okay, on this side here, you got a little on-off switch, and the only thing that on-off switch controls is this bottom beam here. That's for if you got paper hanging out here. You want to disable this bottom beam, because if it's in the way, the red light's gonna light up and you're not gonna be able to cut. You need to have the green light right there. Activate it. Shows that it's ready to cut. If anything gets in the way, like a hand here, you can see the green light and the red light blinking back and forth. When I put my hand in here, that basically kills it during a cut if it's moving or something. So it's your invisible infrared safety grid there. So anything gets in here, it's gonna stop the cutter from cutting. You got your power switch right here, on off. Back here is your plug-in for the cutter. Right below that plug, there's a little thing for your fuse that pulls out. If you ever lose power completely to this, that's your fuse. You may want to check it and see if it's blown or anything. But that's basically it. I'll go over some features on this. This is just a pusher. That's to go backwards on your paper push, and that's just the thing that pushes the paper forward and back, and it's moving back now. When I push that, when I push this, it'll move forward. You can see the inch mark it's at. You can type in an inch mark here by just double click the C. Sometimes you only have to click it once, but I like to double click it just to make sure, because sometimes you have to double, sometimes you have to single, depending on what it's on. But then you just input a number, like say 10 inches, and enter. And the paper push will move to the 10-inch mark. This eject here, see that arrow right there? It'll turn that on or off. And when it's on, all it does is push the paper stack out 4 inches after a cut. And I'll have it on so you can see when I do a cut, it'll push the paper stack out 4 inches. I'll go over some of this thing. This is your set button. It goes into some of the technical stuff of the machine. You really don't need to be messing with it. The deep setting, you never want to go over 10 on that. And you can go keep pushing the set, and it'll go to inch, and you can change it to millimeters if you want, or go back to inch, and I'll hit enter to save it. But the rest of it you don't really want to mess with. You can check your owner's manual for information on that. Right now it's an M for manual mode. You change it here to auto mode, and there's your auto mode number 1. It's got like 99, and you can toggle between with the 2 and the 8. That goes back to 0. It's up to 7. I'll go the other way so you can see how many it's got. 99, or basically 100, because it has a double 0. I'll start at 1 there. And basically on this is just if you have multiple cuts of the same thing. So basically you're gonna hit C to highlight the first wherever you want the first cut to be. Let's say 15 inches, and then you hit enter. You'll go to your next one, and you'll put in, say your next cut you want to be 12 inches. Hit enter. You'll go to your next one. Say your next cut you want to be 8 inches, and you hit enter, and you keep going until, let's say I'll do one more cut. I'll say 5 inches. 5, 0, 0. Hit enter, and then you hit enter a second time to basically save it. And at that point, the paper push will move to the 15-inch mark. I'll hit once, hit it twice. And now it's going to the 15-inch mark to start the first cut. You put your paper in there, get it in there however you need it correctly, and then you do a cut, and then the paper push will move the paper forward to the next cut, and then so on. Do your cut buttons, it'll move to the next and next. Once it does the final one that you set in there, it'll just move back to the 15-inch mark. There's repeat cut, and there's an S on that one, and they also call it sections, but you want to highlight the first one again, and this is where your starting cut is, whatever that is. Let's say it's 11 inches. Hit enter, and this is your increments of cuts, however you want, what your sections you want it to be, or your repeat cut. Say you want to cut 1-inch sections off of this, then you just put 1, 0, 0, and enter. It'll move to the 11-inch mark, and I'll do a simulated cut real quick. So now it's going to move to the 10-inch mark. Forward 1 inch, and then you do your next cut, and then it will move it to 9-inch and so on. It'll just keep going 1 inch at a time. And that's sections mode. So that's basically all your modes. Our repeat cut is also called. And you hit this one, or you can hit this one back, go back to auto mode, that one stuff I put in there. Hit it again to go back to M for manual mode. And that's what most people are going to be on, just manual mode. And we'll do a cut here. We'll go to around, let's see, 7.5 inches. I think it might need to go a little shorter than that, but I'll do it 7.5 for now. It pushed it forward. Looks like it needs to be about 7 inches. Because you can see the cut line there, it's a laser line, and this is about 1/4 inch short of that, so it looks like it's about a 7 1/4 inch stack right now. So I'm going to put it to 7 inches. I hit double C 700, enter. It's going to push it forward to the 7-inch mark, and you can see the laser line is about 1/4 inch on that there. And let's do a quick test cut. I do have this eject activate with that little arrow, so it will push it out 4 inches after the cut. If you turn that off, it just wouldn't do anything on the pushing it out. So to do this, you got to hit the reset button. If you happen to put your hand in here after you hit the reset, it's going to kill it. So you got to push it again. So, or it times out after a while, but that's got to be lit up, and you got to push and hold both. You push and hold both cut buttons, and do not let them go until it finishes its cut. So once the blade finishes doing what it's going to do, you can let them go. As you can see, it pushed it out, the stack out 4 inches, and I can remove the stuff it cut off here. And you can see it's a pretty smooth, fine cut. And I'll just go ahead and push it back. You do have some stuff that comes with this, like a paper jogger. I'll go ahead and push it back to where it was. Tap on it a little bit to make sure it's good on that. Some other things that comes with it, like the owner's manual. There's your power cord. I'm using a different power cord right now, but there's the power cord for it. This wrench here is to loosen the screws on your blade when it comes time to change your blade. And these are your blade holders to remove the blade safely without cutting yourself. And information on that is in your owner's manual, so you can look on that. Comes with a few extra things. There's some stand screws where you do have to assemble the stand. Some extra Allen wrenches and such. But put that right in there. Speaking of the stand, once you get it assembled, you have this pull-out bin right there. That's just for, like, after I did the cut here, I could have just did that like this and just dropped them in there. And then you got this drawer here. You've already seen that for storage. You can put paper in there or whatever you want to put in there. And on this, I'm going to just show you. This will cut a very fine amount. So I'm going to do like 6, let's see, clear it out, 6, 9, 8. And it just moves it forward a hair. That was almost too fine of a cut there, but it barely trimmed off a little bit there for you. Let's do a little bit slow. I might not have tapped in perfectly. That's what's a good thing to have this jog to make sure it's all the way against the stack good. We'll do like a 6, 9, 4. And we'll do. And you can do stuff almost hair thin on this stuff, you know. It's pretty fine stuff here. So it does down to a couple hundredths of an inch it'll cut for you even. But that's basically it on the cutting. We can move this out of the way. And I think I went over with everything on the safety. If it's a good idea, just go, this is your emergency stop. It kills the cutter if you push it. Power it on, and you twist it, turn it back on. Every time you turn this cutter on, the paper push will move to the back to calibrate itself and then move forward to its last cut position. So you have that on there. Other than that, you got your on-off here. Over here, you can turn it on or off with this on-off switch. You do have the wheels that you have to install on the stand. You've got these locks on it. You can push down those to lock it in place on both sides. When you're moving this cutter, it is on wheels. It's a little bit front heavy, so it's not a good idea to push it from the back, because if you hit something like you'll hit the wheels, caught the wheels, and then you could potentially push this over. It might be hard to do, but it is possible. So it's always a good idea to push it from the front. If it's this way and you need to come forward with it, you can always rotate it first and then push it. You always want to push from the front. You don't want to pull from the front, because it could do the same thing, fall over on you. You always want to push it from the front. If you have to rotate it around 180 degrees to push it, that's fine, but you want to push from the heavy end of it. And a good place to push is down here on the base here. That's basically it. Again, this is our Guillotine EC19 Pro version 2 paper cutter. This video is published by mbkpinternational.com.